The Golden State Warriors come into Madison Square Garden and beat the Knicks by the score of 110-99, and Chris and I are here to break it all down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel and Chris. Chris, let's hop right into today's video. Another tough loss, man. Another tough loss. One thing I can say is I'm glad that we got Brunson and Hartenstein back in the lineup, but it wasn't enough going up against Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. Talk to me. What did you see from tonight's game? Anything that worried you or anything that you see that we could build upon? Anywhere you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly worried about just Jericho Sims. Like just in general. He have the worst game in the world? By no means. Like he put up 10 and 5. His stats are good. It was just like he was so often in the wrong place when he just his defensive placement is weird. And I don't like how much the Knicks were guarding the Warriors non-shooters. I know that's a thing in the regular season that guys who can't shoot the ball, you don't fully just go into the paint like what, the Ben Simmons treatment, for instance. Like we'd see that in the playoffs less so than the regular season. The Knicks have to stop guarding guys who cannot shoot the ball on the perimeter because it's getting really annoying. Also, just shout out to Josh Hart. He played 47 minutes tonight. I know he didn't make a ton of his shots, but I'm looking at it, he went 3 for 9 from three. For Josh Hart, a guy who's not out there to be a shooter, great job done by him. 14 points, 18 rebounds, 7 assists. He got that steal on Steph Curry when the Knicks started to take some momentum back. Unfortunately, the Warriors are just too good at playing the momentum game. The Knicks lost the tough one. Like, honestly, that's all it really is.
Yeah, they started making a comeback, but then we just couldn't make a bucket, and then we couldn't get a timely stop. I literally was just looking at the standings right before we started recording, and actually Miami is now the 5th seed,
Yeah.
and they're actually one game behind us. Listen, it's not a long time until the playoffs start, but it's a little bit shorter. I don't know, man. I don't like what we're doing. We're 4-8 in the month of February. And the bodies that we're getting. Oh, you texted me. You texted the group chat earlier today talking about OG and Anunoby. The status report about that. You remember what you said?
Yeah, so essentially it's come out from Thibodeau himself when he was asked on an update on OG Anunoby. He said that OG is back to working on-court activities. So that does not mean contact yet. He's still on non-contact, but he's back on the court. He's back doing warm-ups. So he is on the right path, and it sounds like we'll see OG Anunoby in the next week or two. I would guess, give it exactly 10 days, we'll probably see OG back on the court. That's going to be a huge boost. Knicks had no one to guard Steph tonight. It's been sort of this repeat factor for the Knicks also. We don't have an elite perimeter defender without OG Anunoby. It was a problem before we traded for him. It's certainly a problem now. As good as Hart is as a defender and Dante DiVincenzo, they're not elite on-ball defenders the way that OG is, and he just makes our team so much better, especially with the way he could shoot, and he's not afraid to put the ball on the floor and take it to the hole. Knicks are missing him. It'll be huge to see him back. And then I also
Big
saw,
facts.
same from Tibbs, that Mitchell Robinson is yet to start on-court activity, so unsurprisingly, OG's probably going to be the first one back. Randall probably soon to follow. Mitch, huge question mark still.
We need one of the three back.
One at
OG.
least.
I was gonna ask you who would you give the MVP of tonight's game to? I mean, Jalen Brunson had the most points with 27, but he was 11 of 25 from the field. Sheesh.
Yeah.
4 of 7 from three. Honestly, I don't even know if I would give him the MVP ball. Like, yeah, he had the most points, but it just didn't seem like a regular Jalen Brunson game. So, who do you think? Who would you give it to?
I mean, the person who was playing the best the entire night, I'm not saying he was the best player for the Knicks, but the player who was actually having an incredibly good game is Deuce McBride. In 22 minutes, the man played well, went 6 for 8 from shooting, clearly was making an impact defensively when he was on the court, also went 2 for 3 from three. One of the threes he shot was a bad shot. He had a man open. I think it was Brunson, and he could have made an extra pass, could have been an extra 3 points for the Knicks. It's whatever. Deuce had a great game. I mean, Brunson, you can't say he played badly. It's
Right.
just, you don't want to see 11 for 25, but you also understand it so many guys who are scorers for the Knicks, a team that's already limited in scorers when you have basically the whole team healthy,
Right.
especially when talking about their starting five, like he's got to shoot the ball a lot, and teams know that's going to happen.
I kind of want to do a little pivot, talking about Steph Curry. Right before the game ended, TNT they put something on the screen, just talking about Steph Curry and kind of like Nick moments. This guy has been associated with the Knicks so much. He got drafted in the Garden. He had his breakout game, which I believe was in 2012, 2013, against the Knicks. I think he had 54. That was against Melo, Tyson Chandler, Jason Kidd. That was his breakout game. He
20,
say it again.
was 2013, right?
I think so, yeah.
I
And
know Felton was guarding him for the majority of the game. The Knicks won the game in overtime. I was watching it. I
yeah,
remember vividly because I was like, "Oh my God!" That's when he first did the shimmy.
yeah. And then he eclipsed the 3-point history record at the Garden. I believe he was the seventh pick or he was the eighth pick, and the Knicks had the next pick. And rumors are that they would have chosen him. They would have chosen him, but Golden State just took him before we did. Yo, it's just like there's just so many things that you can like link Stephen Curry to the Knicks. But honestly, like even if Stephen Curry was drafted by the Knicks, I don't think he would have had the same career. I honestly think that he might have been out of the league because he had some ankle problems and the Knicks aren't really good with developing their talent. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain about that, just the whole Stephen Curry being linked to the Knicks.
Well, Mike D'Antoni was once asked this because he became the coach of the Knicks pretty soon after that. And he was asked about the potential of coaching Steph Curry if Curry did fall to the Knicks. And D'Antoni said, I probably would have found a way to screw that up.
Mike
So,
D'Antoni.
just funny moment from Mike D'Antoni because when you look at Steph Curry, he is a player that D'Antoni would have loved to coach at some point in his career.
100%, yeah.
The pace, the spacing, I mean, the willingness to give up the ball and move without the ball, that offensive style, is perfect for Mike D'Antoni. So I don't know if that's exactly true in the sense that D'Antoni thinks he would have screwed it up. I find it hard to imagine that the team owned by James Dolan could have a guy in Steph Curry break out to this level in comparison to the team that Joe Lacob owned, because what the Warriors did when Joe Lacob bought that was just a complete culture change. Whether it was the departure of Mark Jackson and bringing in Steve Kerr, who instantly wins a title his first year as a coach, and Steph breaking out and Clay breaking out and Draymond Green's emergence after the David Lee injury. So many things went right for Steph Curry's career that it feels like even if you change something minor like the culture of where the franchise at, where Steph didn't have that pressure going in because of Monta Ellis, because the team was decent, he would have been hailed as the savior of the Knicks in 2009. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone. And he's Steph Curry. He probably could have figured it out to a degree. The greatest players play great wherever they go. It's hard to imagine he would have broke out in the same way.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it would have happened because he was dealing with ankle problems, and the Knicks they don't know how to like care for that type of talent. They would have traded him, or he probably would have been out of the league. Honestly, so like every time I hear a fan saying like, "Yo, we were so close to getting Steph Curry," or the Knicks history could have been changed, I would have been like, I was like, no, we probably would have messed up his career if anything.
I wonder, in my mind, there's probably a good chance that the Knicks would have tried in 2011 to use Steph Curry as the massive trade bait for Carmelo Anthony. Though I know in his second or third, like his third season, which he got drafted in 2009, so 2009, 2010, 2000. So his second season in the NBA, he would have only been a year and a half in. He was great, but the Knicks probably would have used him as trade bait for Melo, more likely so than trying to pair Melo with him because it's impossible to tell the future of what Steph Curry, who's mainly a three-point shooter, and back then that's just a nice commodity. It's not the way of the NBA. I feel like he just would have ended up in Denver anyway.
A tandem of Melo and Curry. Ugh, I don't even know. I do not like that. So all right, man. Tough loss tonight. Of course, you and I, we always got to talk about the future. We always want to. We're a little worried about the future. So tonight's game we lost. Sunday we're actually going to be at Cleveland. That's going to be a tough. That's going to be a tough game. Cleveland's on a roll. Yeah, it just seems like they're putting their pieces together, man. Sunday we're at Cleveland, and then next Tuesday we're home against Atlanta. Trae Young just went out. He's gonna have surgery, or he already had surgery on one of his shooting fingers. He tore a ligament. So I mean, that's gonna be a tough game. Next Friday we're home against Orlando, tough game. And then Sunday, March 10th and March 12th is like a back-to-back. Both of those games are home against the Philadelphia 76ers. The 76ers don't have Embiid, but they still have a lot of talent on that team. Until Julius Randle comes back, which is not until the end of the season, Mitchell Robinson, which is not until the end of the season, the rest of the way is going to be a tough schedule, bro.
100%. And the fact of the matter is, as we've seen against the Detroit Pistons, the Knicks, even with this depleted team, can hang with anyone. They also very well can lose to anyone. So pretty much every game the Knicks play is going into it, we're going to be saying this is probably going to be a tough game. And if they blow a team out like what they did to the 76ers, it's a really nice surprise, but no one's expecting this. The Knicks are really depleted right now. And
yo, what if we end up in the play-in, yo? Oh.
It's highly likely at this point, I'd say. I mean, there was a time where it felt like we were a lock for the 3 seed, and now everyone's injured, and I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't hate to play the 2 seed Cavs as a 7th seed. I'd probably rather play them than the Bucks, and the Heat, honestly.
Yeah, but of course, the play-in is anything can happen. What happened?
Totally. I'm not saying that I want to be in there.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying though, but like, oh man, we'll see, man. We'll see. All right, guys, but that's it for tonight's video. We want to say thank you for checking it out. Leave it in the comments. Let us know what you guys thought about tonight's game and the Knicks' effort against the Golden State Warriors. But until next time, you guys know the drill. You guys know the vibes. Taj Gibson for president. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs. And we out, baby. Peace.